Okay, so let's just settle into a nice, comfortable seated posture. Just have both feet flat on the floor, about a hip's width apart. Just feel the sensation of the feet on the floor, and the backs of the legs on the chair, the sits bones on the chair, and feel the weight of your pelvis in on your seat. Feel the weight of your hands in your lap. And align your shoulders with your hips and your ears with your shoulders. So a nice long spine. And then bring your attention to the crown of your head. Feel the sensations there. And relax your scalp, your forehead, your eyes, the nose, the cheeks, the mouth, back of the tongue, the jaw, and your ears, and the back of the head. Just put some length in your neck so your head is just kind of floating away. Your chin is very slightly down. And then just release any tension at the base of the skull if you can. And allow your shoulders and your shoulder blades to drop down and relax the throat and the chest and the belly and all of your limbs. Now bring your attention to the sensations of the breath as you inhale and exhale. Notice the sensations around the nostrils. Notice the sensations around your chest cavity. And then notice your belly as you breathe in and out. And be aware of any sound, any distractions. And just allow all of the sounds to be there, trying not to follow with the mind. And then just checking in with your mind this evening. How are you doing? And see if you can appreciate that the mind you have this evening is probably different to the mind you had this morning. Check in with your mind. How are you doing? What thoughts are going through your mind right now? Allow the thoughts to be there. Try not to follow the story or engage with the story. And just watch them bubble up as they arise. Allow them to abide, and then just release the thoughts. Don't judge them, don't engage with them, don't have opinions about them. Just let them go. And being aware of all the people of our life, our loved ones, our strangers, the ones we don't like. Remembering they're all equal. They don't want to suffer, just like you and me. They want to be happy. And they all have this extraordinary capacity for a Buddha mind. So we think we'll do this practice for all these people of our life. And I heard that Lorraine's got something going on. Also, one of my landlords, excuse me, he has something going on. There's some terrible fires north of us here in California, up in Nevada, Canada, earthquakes everywhere. So just all the people that are involved, even if they're not harmed, but they've been displaced or they've lost their home. One woman was being interviewed the other day, and all that's left is a chimney. I think these are the fires up in Washington State. And also, apparently, it was arson. So, dedicate for the person who caused millions and millions of dollars worth of damage, harming so many people. So then we do this practice for all these beings, and by extension, all the sentient beings, and also because of ourselves as we're moving along our spiritual path. So we think there is no negativity that can't be purified. And this purification practice is basically a psychological one. So we create negativity with our mind. So equally, we can change it by creating positivity instead. And we start with this power of regret. So sincerely regret from the depths of your heart anything you have done to harm any living being on this day, in this life, and in all of our past lives. And think of specific actions of both your body and your speech, and then in general, regret all. And the reason to regret is based on this logic of karma. And we experience everything due to our past karma, our past actions. And so, having harmed others, we ourselves will necessarily experience suffering in the future. And we cannot bear the thought of any future suffering that we will experience. And we know from our present suffering we don't want any more. So logically, it makes sense to remove the karmic seeds before they ripen as future suffering for us. So we think, I regret from the depths of my heart having harmed others with my body and my speech, having broken my vows, because I do not want the future suffering. I'm sick of suffering. And also regret any anger, attachment, and the rest that are the cause of why we harm others, and then think again, I'm sick of this suffering. And then think, well, what can I do about it? Whom can I turn to? And so here we come to the power of reliance. We turn to the Buddha, who we see as a doctor who has these methods that we can use to purify. And it's not that we need a Buddha Vajrasattva to forgive us. We're purifying ourselves by relying upon his medicine. So you imagine Vajrasattva above the crown of your head. You can also imagine this is the mind of your teacher manifesting in this form for your benefit. And he's made of this radiant, blissful white light, sitting cross-legged on a white lotus and a moon cushion. And he has a beautiful, radiant face. His eyes are long and peaceful and full of love and compassion for you and all those people of your life. And he has a sweet red mouth. His he's he's got these beautiful hair, shiny and black and held up in a top knot. His arms are crossed at his heart, and the left is underneath the right, and the left's holding a bell, and this represents wisdom. And the right is holding a vajra, which represents the indestructibility of compassion. And their being crossed like that represents the union of these two, and this symbolizes enlightenment itself, the development of infinite wisdom and infinite compassion. To the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha, I go for refuge until I'm enlightened. By this practice of meditating on Guru Vajrasattva, may I reach Buddhahood so as to benefit all sentient beings. So in order to develop compassion, we need to rely upon other beings, the very beings we have harmed and those who have harmed us, by developing compassion for them. So think particularly of people you've harmed recently and in the past, and then in general, all beings we have ever harmed since beginningless time. And then remember those who have harmed you and have compassion for them, because the harm they've caused you is going to result a suffering for them sometime in the future. So make a strong aspiration to do this practice of purification for the sake of all these beings. And we think, I must purify for their sake. And then we come to this power of remedy, and this is the actual medicine, doing the practice of purification. And we start with the body. And Vajrasattva very compassionately sends powerful nectar, like coming out of a hose, quite forcefully from his heart. And it arcs around and enters your crown and pours into your entire body, filling you completely. And it keeps pouring into you until it forces out of your lower orifices all the harm you've ever done to any living being with your body in the form of inky liquid. And this pours out of you and disappears into space, not one atom left as we recite the mantra. Om Vajrasattva Samayam Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Jita Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yata Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Guru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tata Gata Vajra Mame Mutta Vajra Bawa Maha Samaya Sattva A Hum Pe Om Vajrasattva Samayam Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Jita meboa, sitokaya meboa, sipokaya meboa, anarakta meboa, sawasidi mimpi yata sawa kama sita me, sitam shriyam guru hum ha 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 ho bhagawan, sawa tata gata vajra mame mutta vajra bawa maha samaya sattva a hum pe, vajrasattva samaya manupalaya, vajrasattva dina patita, jita meboa, sitokaya meboa, sipokaya meboa, Anarakta miboa sawasidi mimpi yata sawa kama sita me. Sitam shriyam guru hum ha 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 ho bhagawan. Sawa tata gata vajra mami mutta vajra bawa maha samaya sattva a hum pe. Om vajrasattva samayam manupalaya vajrasattva dina patita. Jita miboa situkaya miboa sipokaya miboa. Anarakta miboa sawasidi mimpi yata sawa kama sita me. Sitam Shriyam Guru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tata Gata Vajra Mami Mutta Vajra Bawa Maha Samaya Sattva A Hum Pe Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Jita Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yata Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Guru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawa tata gata vajra mami mutta vajra bawa maha samaya sattva a hum pe. Om vajrasattva samaya manupalaya vajrasattva dina patita. Jita meboa situkaya meboa sipokaya meboa. Anarakta meboa sawasidi mimpi yata sawa kama sita me. Sitam shriyam guru hum ha 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 ho bhagawan. Sawa tata gata vajra mami mutta vajra bawa maha samaya sattva a hum pe. Om Vajrasattva Samayam Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Jita Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta me boa sawa sidi me pe yata sawa kama sita me. Sitam shriyam guru hum ha 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 ho bhagavan. Sawa tata gata vajra me mutta vajra bawa mahasamaya sattva a hum pe. So then be delighted that all the harm you've ever done to any sentient being with your body is now completely purified, and think that there's no way you could do anything other than benefit others now with your body. Next is a purification of our speech. And Vajrasattva very happily sends powerful nectar from his heart chakra. And this arcs around and quite forcefully enters your crown and fills your entire body, except this time forcing up to the top of your body all the negativity of your speech. And this overflows and disappears into space, not one atom left. So imagine all the gossip and the harsh speech and the useless speech and lying and, talking about people behind their backs, getting other people to agree with you. All of this is purified by this powerful nectar filling you as you recite the mantra. Om Vajrasattva Samayam Nupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Jita Meboa Sutokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Guru Hom Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajra Mami Mutta Vajra Bawa Mahasamaya Sakra A Hom Pe Om Vajrasattva Samayam Nupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Jita meboa, sitokaya meboa, sipokaya meboa, anarakta meboa, sawasidi mimpi yata sawa kama sita me, sitam shriyam guru hum ha 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 ho bhagavan, sawa tata gata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sakva a hum pe, vajrasattva samayam manupalaya, vajrasattva dina patita, jita meboa, sitokaya meboa, sipokaya meboa, Anarakta meboa sawasidi mimpi yata sawa kama sita me. Sitam triyam guru hum ha 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 ho bhagavan. Sawa tata gata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sattva a hum pe. Vajrasattva samayam manupalaya vajrasattva dina patita. Jita meboa sitokaya meboa sipokaya meboa. Anarakta meboa sawasidi mimpi yata sawa kama sita me. Sitam Shriyam Guru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva A Hum Pe Vajrasattva Samayam Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Jita Meboa Sitokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yata Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Guru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa tata gata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sattva ahum pe. Vajrasattva samayam manupalaya vajrasattva dina patita. Jita meboa sitokaya meboa sipokaya meboa. Anarakta meboa sawasidi mimpi yatsa sawa kama sita me. Sitam shriyam guru hum ha 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 ho bhagavan. Sawa tata gata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sattva ahum pe. Vajrasattva samayam manupalaya vajrasattva dina patita jita meboa sitokaya meboa sipokaya meboa anarakta meboa sawasidi mimpi yatsa sawa kama sita me sitam triyam guru hum ha 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 ho bhagavan sawa tata gata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sattva a hum pe. So feel really happy that your speech is now completely purified. And imagine it's not possible to do anything other than benefit others now with your speech. And next is a purification of our mind, and Vajrasattva very compassionately sends powerful beams of light from his heart chakra, and this arcs around and enters your crown and fills your entire being. So imagine the light from Vajrasattva's heart hits your heart chakra, and all the darkness of the negativity of your mind, so all your attachment and neediness and anger and depression, resentment, jealousy, bitterness, grudges, all of this instantly dispelled, not one atom left, as we recite the mantra again. Om Vajrasattva Samayam Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Ajita Meboa Sitokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Guru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Ah Hum Pe Bhadrasapha Samayam Nupalaya Bhadrasapha Dina Patita Vajita Meboa Sitokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Guru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Ahum Pe Bhadrasapha Samayam Nupalaya Bhadrasapha Dina Patita Vajita Meboa Sitokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Guru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Ahum Pe Bhadrasapha Samayam Nupalaya Bhadrasapha Dina Patita Jita Meboa Sitokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Guru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Ahum Pe Bhadrasapha Samayam Nupalaya Bhadrasapha Dina Patita Jita Meboa Sitokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Guru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Ahum Pe Bhadrasapha Samayam Nupalaya Bhadrasapha Dina Patita Jita Meboa Sitokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anurakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Guru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Ahum Pe Bhadrasapha Samayam Nupalaya Bhadrasapha Dina Patita Jita Meboa Sitokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anurakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Guru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Ahum Pe. So again, be delighted that all your delusions, which are the source of all of our own suffering and the cause of why we harm others with our body and our speech, are completely purified. And think that there's no space in your heart now for anything other than love and kindness and forgiveness and wisdom and bliss and compassion. And next is the purification of even the imprints of negativity of our body, speech, and mind. And this time, imagine Vajrasattva sends light and nectar, and it fills you completely and eradicates even the subtlest imprints of negative energy from your consciousness. So you imagine the nectar flows down, pushing out all the negativity of the body, and then the nectar flows up, pushing out all the negativity of the speech, and then the light comes and blasts all of the delusions. You're also reciting the mantra. So in this way, we're completely eradicating even these very subtle imprints of negative energy from the consciousness. Vajrasattva Samayam Nupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Jita Meboa Sitokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anurakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Guru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Ahum Pe Vajrasattva Samayam Nupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Jita Meboa, Sitokaya Meboa, Sipokaya Meboa, Anurakta Meboa, Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me, Sitam Shriyam Guru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan, Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Ahum Pe. Vajrasattva Samayam Nupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita, Jita Meboa, Sitokaya Meboa, Sipokaya Meboa, Anurakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Guru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Ahum Pe Vajrasattva Samayam Nupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Jita Meboa Sitokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anurakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Guru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Ahum Pe Vajrasattva Samayam Nupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Udita Meboa Sitokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Savasidi Mimpiyata Sawa Kamasita Me Sitam Shriyam Guru Hum Ha Ha Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutsa Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Ahum Pe Vajrasattva Samayam Nupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Jita Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Guru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mata Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Ahum Pe Vajrasattva Samayam Nupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Jita Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Guru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Ahum Pe. So now imagine you're completely purified. There's not one atom of negativity left in your mind stream. Even the subtlest obscurations to enlightenment have been removed. And so now we come to the power of resolve, and this is the fourth and the final step in the purification process, and it's a really crucial one. This is this determination to refrain from harming with our body and our speech and our mind. So without making a decision like this, we're just going to keep doing the same old things over and over again. So this aspiration to refrain from harming is like a beacon that guides our body and our speech and our mind in new directions. So think of something you'd like to work on between now and tomorrow. Keep it simple. Make some kind of a timeline. Maybe you do it once. Maybe you think about it all day long. It's up to you. Vajrasattva is delighted with us and wants to merge with your mind and melts into white light and absorbs into you through your crown, and you think, my teacher's body, speech, and mind, and Vajrasattva's body, speech, and mind, and my own body, speech, and mind are the same. So next Rinpoche would recommend to meditate a little bit on emptiness. So in emptiness, there is no I, the creator of negative karma. There is no action of creating negative karma. And there is no negative karma created. So just place your mind in this state of emptiness for a little while. Even if you don't know what that is, maybe you just know the word. Just think about the word. So in this way, we think about all phenomena as being empty, that it's not concrete, it's not existing from its own side. You can also think that the way things appear to me may not necessarily be the way they actually exist. So let's dedicate all the merit, all the positive energy you've created doing this practice to all living beings, and think, may all the virtuous karma I've created from doing this practice ripen as my enlightenment for the sake of sentient beings as quickly as possible. So let's just do our chanting the names of Manjushri. Unstained, devoid of passion, passionless, controlling humors, free from every illness, by nature most awakened, fully awake, omniscient, knowing everything, supreme, beyond reality as consciousness, pristine awareness bearing non-dual form, beyond conceptualization, effort-free, acting as Buddhas do in every age. The Buddha, endless and beginningless, the Buddha at the start, devoid of sequence, with wisdom as his only eye, unstained, Tathagata with wisdom as his body. All right, everyone, let's have a strong wish for His Holiness the Dalai Lama to live long, for a swift return of our precious Lama Zopa Rinpoche, and for all of your own individual teachers to have long and happy and healthy lives. All right, thank you, Shayla. Thank you for hosting. Lots of love, everybody. I will see you tomorrow. Okay, bye-bye. Good night.
Thank you, Venerable.